you're back with the Wealth Guardian Show, guarding your retirement from market losses with safe money strategies. My name is Doug Ray, and I have been your host for this show. If you're just tuning in, that's too bad because you missed a lot. You missed a free book giveaway, and you missed a way to make 20% in a few weeks. And I'm not going to do it again. You're going to have to call me, 800-515-2919, to learn that little technique. It's just a little charting technique, and it has a seasonality function to it, and it typically works just about every year. It's not perfect. It's got an 83% track record. But
do you have a website?
We do. It's called www.thewealthguardians.com. thewealthguardians.com. You can also email me at doug@thewealthguardians.com. Thank you, JJ, for reminding me to say that. All right, folks, if you want to call in and have a comment or a question, again, the number here at the station is area code 336-777-1600, 336-777-1600. I think with the last few minutes left, I just want to talk about some things that have been going on this past week, some things that have happened that I think may be important for us to pay attention to. I haven't talked all show about what's happened in Europe this past week. A couple significant events over there. Most of you are very well aware of the rioting going on in Britain. But what you may not be aware of, which I think may have more implications for the financial markets, is Europe has, France and Spain and Italy and Belgium banned short selling of financial stocks for 15 days. Well, what does that mean? Well, a short sale is basically a trade that is you're betting on the price of that particular stock going down. And if you haven't known this, the European financial stocks have taken a beating for lots of reasons, most of which is they are there's credit concerns over there, the debt situation's spinning out of control. But what happens in this situation is, I mean, we tried this a few years ago, and it doesn't work. What short selling does is it offers balance in the marketplace. It may, for a short period of time, stop the downturn in stocks, but it's not going to be a permanent fix to falling stock prices. You know, Porter Stansberry has an interesting letter, and basically his comment was, blaming short sellers is the typical political move of people intent on sloughing off onto others the responsibility of mess they created in the first place. Well, you know, I think he's right about that. They're just trying to point fingers somewhere else. I think what it'll end up doing is, in fact, it'll probably make the situation a lot worse. Things that go on behind the scenes that most people aren't aware of is banks typically trade with each other. They'll loan money to each other, and when they do that, to hedge the risk in that situation, is they'll actually sell short the stock of the bank that they're loaning money to. And that is a hedge that they put in place just in case that they, you know, end up losing out on the loan side of it. So if they can't do that, then what's that going to do to their ability to loan? Well, we've talked endlessly on this show about how banks are not lending like they should be, could be, and all of us want them to get money out there in the marketplace so that the economy will be positively motivated. So that's just going to cause them to have less reason to loan money. The other thing about this is, you know, a short seller is not Snidely Whiplash. They're not evil people. You know, if there is a reason, if there is a fundamental reason for a stock to go down in price, then a free and open marketplace, you ought to be able to take advantage of that. And if you don't have the short sellers in there balancing things out, you will quickly get a marketplace that is out of balance. And when that happens, then you have set things up for the typical house of cards falling in. I know a lot of that kind of is going over some of your, it's hard to put your mind around that. I understand that, but the fact that the government and regulators can come in and stop a perfectly legitimate trading situation, to me, just makes no sense whatsoever. And while I'm on this topic, it's like the Graham-Dodd bill. That thing is stuffed so full of onerous regulation. The banks are, they're just going to be inundated with paperwork and endless cost to try to do business, regulatory costs. And it's just not making this whole recovery process an easy process. It's just not. And I am definitely a free market capitalist. There's no question about it. And certainly, that can get out of hand on the other side too. The pendulum swings both ways. But what's going on in Europe, what's been going on in this country, is one of the reasons why this economy is still where it's at, stuck, and in my opinion, headed lower. We talked last week about the GDP numbers. Well, just this week, consumer confidence came out at 54%. That's the worst reading in over 30 years. Folks, people aren't spending money, and when people don't spend money, it doesn't get in the economy, and when it doesn't get in the economy, jobs aren't created. All right, gang, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. We'll be back next week.